All right, welcome everybody. We are starting a brand new podcast today. We don't even have a name for it yet. And you know what? That doesn't matter because we're here today. I'm Lindsay Semper and I'm here with my co-host, Austin Spitzenberger, but we just call him Austin Spitz because it's like light years easier than the full name.
Yes, my full name is Austin Spitzenberger. I've been known as a nickname Spitz my whole life, so I've always been afraid to change it on Facebook because I think, oh, they're gonna forget who I am. They won't, but everybody knows that I'm Austin Spitzenberger.
You can't forget a mouthful.
Right. Anyways, but yeah, I've just always gone by Austin Spitz. But yeah, I'm super excited to be here and talk about all the stuff that we've got going on.
So why are we here today? So we started a mastermind. Well, I started a mastermind at the beginning of the year that was a spin-off of some real estate mastermind panels that we had with a lot of different experts, investors in the area. And we realized that after having those panel discussions or those panel events, that there were a lot of people that still wanted to keep the conversations moving forward. They still wanted to learn more. There were deeper places that we could dive into. And so we started a mastermind back in January, and then had Austin join in just last month and really get the gears rolling forward and get us more into a bigger group that's going to come out and host every month. So I'm really excited that you came along to that group. I'm going to let him talk about his background here in just a second so that you know and understand who you're talking to and why we're even up here talking today. But just wanted to give you a little bit of information about the mastermind itself. So we meet every month at Lone Star Lounge.
Creekside.
I was trying to think of the third word.
That's okay. I blank out every time people ask me. I'm like, second Tuesday, Lone Star Lounge, Creekside location. Yeah. So in some way I fumble it. But anyways, right. That's where we'll be at.
Yeah. So once a month we meet, and we meet as a mastermind. And so what that means is we just get together in a colloquial forum, right, from 6 to 7:30. And we get together with other like-minded people that are looking to build wealth, gain investments, restructure wealth, just learn more about the topics and idea of wealth. And that's about it. I think so, right?
Yeah, so I recently moved here a few months ago, so I really wanted to get tapped into the community, and you were the only person that I could find that was really already doing something that I wanted to and planned on implementing when I got here, and you kind of made it a super speedier process, if you will, and I was able to kind of use your existing group as leverage and then kind of take the time off your plate to kind of build the mastermind group that we could get people together to basically learn from each other and
up the conversation.
Exactly. And we could keep it going. And I'm relatively new to the community, but what I couldn't seem to find is that niche that I just fit into where people are consistently talking about real estate, wealth building on a monthly basis. So it's like, I'm the kind of person that, if I don't see it, I'm going to start it. And you kind of already had that. Yeah. So I just was excited to piggyback off of what you already started and help come together and just grow it into something bigger. And I think the best thing about it was even for our, in my opinion, we barely marketed it. Into the first meetup, we had, over, 15 plus people. And it was all people of quality
caliber.
That were all contributing that I would have never met if I didn't come there. I mean, I knew you and some of the other faces around, but at least I maybe knew 5 people already. And the other 10 people were connections that after that I was able to reach out on Facebook and make those further connections and people that are now in my network. So I think we skipped over the intro. You want to tell? It's okay. This is our first episode, so we're just winging it, and we're only going to get better from here. But we'll jump into that. But you got to tell people what you do, what you think.
That's true.
What you got going on,
why am I even
I know
talking?
you know me, but maybe they don't know.
Right. So I'm Lindsay Semper. I'm a licensed realtor here in the area. I've been a realtor for about 8 years, almost 9. But bigger than that, I have helped tons of families buy investment properties, buy rental properties, or even turn their current home into rental properties. I myself have owned 8 rental properties over the last 10 years, and no short-term rentals yet, but that's a big goal at some point. But just kind of knowing and understanding the process of what it looks like to be able to change your legacy. That was the biggest thing for me. My family didn't have wealth and rental properties and multiple streams of income. They didn't have LLCs or anything of that nature. And so I'm learning all of this all on my own. And what I realized last year, and the reason why this mastermind group came about, was because I realized that I really wasn't sitting at the right table. I was sitting in a group with a lot of people that had the same questions as me, but nobody was asking the questions, and no one was seeking to find the right answers or bringing people together that could give you some of those answers. And so that's really where I wanted the mastermind to go. I wanted to create, like you said, if you can't find the table to sit at where people are having these conversations, you just have to make the table. So that's what we're doing. We're making the table, and we want you to come sit at it with us.
Exactly. Yeah, I love that. That was great intro. So, no, seriously, very good. I now my bar is set really high.
Right.
I had like 2 or 3 sentence, like my 30-second elevator pitch of what I do, but like set the bar hard. No, I'm just kidding. So like I said, my name's Austin, and we own and manage vacation rentals. So specializing in things like Airbnb and VRBO management. We own short-term rentals as well, and then our management company, we manage for owners that own the asset, and we run the business through their property, and obviously we get paid to do that. So that's the service that we provide. Additionally, I do coaching for short-term rental owners, so perhaps they're not a good fit for our business necessarily. I will teach them how to manage their Airbnb and their VRBO, and my pitch is, it's not really a pitch, it's a promise that once you work with me, if you have one vacation rental, I can put in systems and processes to basically where you'll manage your property for less than an hour every single week. So you really don't need property management at that level if you're willing to put in the work up front.
Right.
So that's mostly, what I do from a business perspective. And then, like I said, we own short-term rentals and then long-term rentals. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't know if you wanted to.
Yeah, let's jump in. So what the purpose of what we're doing here today is to extend the conversation. We understand that a lot of people cannot be at our meetings, but they want to have the conversations and they want to find the value in those meetings. And so we want to be able to have a forum to do that. I've had a lot of people reach out and say, if you were doing it virtually, or if you were doing a podcast, we would totally tune in and watch it. So we have a couple of different opportunities. Each week before the mastermind, we're going to have a podcast, just you and I, to talk about the discussion that we're about to have. We're going to go to the mastermind next week, and then we're going to invite some of the people that are at the mastermind to come sit with us right here at our podcast the week following. So it's great for business exposure. It's great for deepening the conversations. It's great to share some things that maybe you had wanted to share at the meeting, but there was too much collaboration, not too much, but there's collaboration going on. So we want to give you guys a stage to be able to do that as well, and an opportunity to speak on our podcast to help, again, make the connections and keep the collaboration ongoing all month. So let's talk a little bit about what we talked about last time. If you weren't able to make our very first mastermind, we had some really incredible conversations involving and revolving around your relationship with wealth, right? What have you been told growing up? What are some of the narratives that you experienced, and how have those changed or affected the way that you view wealth today as an adult?
Sure. So I think like a lot of the common, conversations that happened at the mastermind was very similarity, and it came down to like how their parents thought about money was kind of passed down to them, similar to you, to where you kind of figured out how to invest and figured out real estate and stuff like that, to where, you found other ways to build wealth. And I think it was this preconceived notion that their parents kind of taught them that you can save your way to wealth. And I think that was the common thing. And everybody's like, if I save enough money, then I can comfortably retire, and I work for 30 to 40 years. And that's my plan. And then once I do that, I'm good to go for my retirement.
Right.
And we're kind of in like the mindset of like, hey, there's a faster way that you can get there, and you can live a more fulfilled life And there's nothing wrong with anybody that works a 9-to-5 job. I'm not here to knock somebody like that. There's people that need to do that, and the world needs people like that. But I think what the purpose about, kind of our mastermind and switching really our mindset and our relationship with money is kind of to learn how to invest and kind of have our money work for us instead of trying to save our way to wealth in an environment where the government is consistently printing money and devaluing the dollar. You have to find something else that will preserve your wealth. And that, along with a lot of us are business owners. So
Right.
if you're interested in coming to the mastermind, you don't necessarily have to be a real estate investor. You don't have to own any real estate. You could be a business owner, or you could be, somebody that hasn't even gotten started and is just
Right.
interested and wants to learn more. And now when you put yourself in this environment, you're going to be around people that are already doing it, and it's free. So like, where is the loss there? I don't understand. You have nothing, and we don't have a sales pitch to get you here.
No.
We're just trying to promote it and just improve the community
Right.
and make it an awesome thing that everybody looks forward to every
Correct.
month. So, yeah, I mean,
I agree. So one of the things that you were talking about a moment ago with parents and having their mindset be into saving into our retirement, we know as I don't know exactly how old you are, but I'm 39, right? And I know that Social Security is probably not going to be around by the time that I get there. And I think that we, in our age bracket, have come to grips with that and know and understand that I need to have a different plan for my retirement. And I'd like to get there a little bit sooner than 80, kind of like the demographic and the age range of people in the past that were in that mindset. So I think it's what I have found that stands out most poignantly to me is that when I get to step into these masterminds, I don't feel out of place anymore. I don't feel like the black sheep that's questioning all of the ways that people have done them before, or going against the grain of what my mom and dad did in order to raise money, right? When you're in that environment and you have all of these big ideas, people go, that's kind of crazy. That's outlandish. Don't say things like that.
that's risky.
That's so risky.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that.
And you'd start to believe those narratives, right? Like
Absolutely.
you believe them, and so you play small and you play safe, and that's just not what millionaires do. They play the risk. So I think that having, and granted, I don't think I sat around the table with a millionaire last month, but we could get there. But you have to surround yourself with people that think the way that you do, and that have an entrepreneurial mindset, and that dreams aren't too big to dream, and they don't even have to be dreams. They can just literally be mile markers. Like I don't hear other entrepreneurs say it's my dream to do blank. They just say like, this is what I'm going to do this year, and this is how I'm going to do it.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, I think that combined with the thing of like the concept of just like resilience and never quitting at it. So that's something I see a lot of people do. And it's like they'll start something and get a little momentum, and then they'll get shiny object syndrome, and they'll kind of be like, oh, well, I could go do that too. Now I'm going to go do that. But that's taking away from what
Yeah.
I've built over here. And basically what that does is like you only have so much time. So you've developed the skill set here, and now you're jumping to the next thing, and it kind of like distracts you. Anyways, that was just a kind of a one-off thing. But what I did want to segue into is basically what you were talking about is kind of goes into like what we talked about at the mastermind the last time, which was like scarcity versus abundance mindset. And you basically said it is like you feel weird a lot of times in rooms with people that don't think or haven't had the switch this way. And then in our mastermind group, we talked about people that have a scarcity mindset and people that have an abundance mindset. So what was your take? What was your feedback on like how kind of people respond to that question from people that were in our mastermind?
Yeah, I think that when you're in the scarcity mindset, like it's so tough to get out of it. And you give yourself 1,000 reasons why you should stay in that mindset and not branch out, because even though it's the scarcity mindset is not producing what you need it to produce. And it's not helping you build wealth. And it's probably sucking up your time and energy. At least it's safe, right? At least you know that you can control that aspect, right? So when we talk about scarcity versus abundance mindset, I want you guys to think about like when you were first starting your business. Scarcity mindset says you're not ready to hire anyone. You're not ready to market yourself. You're not ready to pay for marketing. You're also not ready to raise your prices, even though your skill set has developed. And so you get caught in this mindset of, well, nobody will use me if I raise my prices. Nobody's going to believe that I'm worth that amount. And I just really need the money right now because I really need to pay blank bill. And you get into this mindset that that's the only way, right? And instead of spending $600 a month on a good marketing campaign with someone who specializes in marketing, you're going to spend 6 hours trying to work on one ad in a day. But what do those 6 hours a day, what could they be utilized to do that's within your wheelhouse, right? That's something that you're good at. And so I think that for most people, the scarcity versus abundance mindset, we know we shouldn't be spending 6 hours on a Facebook ad. We know we shouldn't be the ones, doing all of our bookkeeping when it's time for taxes. There's bookkeepers out there for that.
Yeah.
But it's hard to get there. It's hard to get there.
No, I completely agree. I like your analogy where you're saying spend $600 to do it and not have to worry about it versus spend 6 hours of your time. And even if you're worth $100 an hour, you could have just paid somebody else to do that for you.
Correct.
And they're going to do it at a professional level. And, if maybe you would have done it and got no deals or one deal, maybe they would have got 2 or 3 or 4 leads from it.
Because of the professionalism.
Yeah. And then that $600 that you spent, that you were too scared to spend, came back in returns of like, well, I got 3 or 4 leads of it and I did it myself the first time and nothing happened and I just wasted my time.
Right.
I think that's a good point. I think a lot of things also like scarcity mindset. I think that's spot on. That's definitely what scarcity mindset looks like. And I think one thing that resonates most with me and that's helped me succeed in my business quite a bit is like scarcity mindset is often like having that thought process that like, if I help so-and-so, they're going to win and I can't win. Because, like if I help them or I give them my secret sauce or what's working for me, if I share it with you, Lindsay, then that's going to affect the amount of business that I'm going to get. And I don't want you to know my secret. And I think that is the most BS thing I've ever heard. I help everyone that does the exact same thing with me. I'm friends with all of my competitors, kind of like you and Yitz. Like, you guys were competing for the same thing, but y'all collaborated on your marketing to both, at the end of the day, it grew both of your businesses, regardless of who won.
Correct.
Right? So I think when it comes to scarcity mindset, it's like, don't have that thought process of like, this is only for me, and if I keep this all to myself, I'm going to win. And I think, all the people at the top level are always collaborating.
Yes.
Like, whatever you're doing, like, make friends with people that are doing it better than you and pull the people up that need your help and help them, because there's more than enough out there for all of us to win.
Correct.
So I think that's, like, the abundance side of it. It's like, do you look at, like, hey, if I don't sign this deal, Yitz is going to go sign this deal. No, you're like, hey, help him win. He's going to help me win. Whenever I need help, I'm going to be able to reach out to him. So that's that. Like, I don't know. That's
and I love that because that's part of the next question is how do you then shift from scarcity to abundance, right? How do you get out of this desperate space into abundance? And I think for me, getting into the abundance mindset was shifting the way that my brain thought about hiring out. It wasn't that I necessarily really wanted to do the work. I am not anywhere close to a micromanager. I am happy to leverage people, delegate anytime I can. So it really wasn't that. It was more so a matter of, yes, the cost and putting those things in place. And my mind said, okay, well, I can save $200 there by doing it myself. But I learned from a very wealthy man a few years back who owns lots of businesses and has many streams of income that when you utilize leverage and you hire people to help you get to where you want to be, it's actually, you're actually serving and helping connect your community, right? I'm providing an opportunity for that person to make a living, right? It was something as silly as hiring a lady to clean my house, right? I didn't want to have to hire someone to clean my house because I just thought, like, I can clean. I don't need to hire. I'm not at that level. But the amount of time and money I could save or reinvest into other areas was a good piece. But the thing that tipped me over the edge was I'm helping Laura provide for her family. By me being able to go out and leverage my time, I'm helping her make a living. So I just felt like, okay, now I'm seeing it, now I'm getting it, that switching into an abundance state of mind is exactly what you said. What can I do to help others? What can I do to help build their business? And what can I do to help connect those people to other people? And that's really a large part of what we want to do with the mastermind, the monthly mastermind. Again, like Austin said, it is completely free. There's no obligation to do anything. There's no membership dues.
If you sign up early, you can get the $9.99 special a month. No, I'm just kidding. We don't do that. We're not doing any of that. But early birds discount,
Early bird
or however they
special,
pitch it. But yeah, no, we don't do that. You do have to buy your own drinks, though. I guess that's the cost.
Come on.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you're out for that, probably wasn't meant to be.
No.
Right? No, I was gonna say I liked your how you talked about how you have someone clean your house and you're providing jobs for other people and building a community. I think that's awesome. And I think that the main point is like, you're going to derive the most value spending time doing the things that you are the best at. Mm-hmm. So if you're not the best at it, like say marketing, you're not the best at, like, why would you spend the 6 hours doing that? You should have somebody else do that. Now you can spend the 6 hours that really moves the needle in your business, or you can spend the 6 hours on doing stuff that gives you more fulfillment, because marketing doesn't give you fulfillment, but that marketing person that you're paying, that gives them fulfillment.
Correct.
So then you're like, I like to go out and maybe you don't, probably not, but show houses. But maybe that's your thing. Like, I want to spend 6 hours doing that because that, you're laughing at that. I figured at your level, probably not, but I'm not a real estate agent. Yeah, but there's just certain things as like, or even just like high level tasks that actually move the needle in your business. So you can move the needle, go make more money. The more money you make, you can pay more people to do this kind of things. But if you're stuck in the weeds doing, things that don't help you, like you can't delegate, then it's just like, you're going to flatline. You're not going to, it's already hard. You got to push forward.
Right. And one of the key pieces that I remember us talking about at the last meeting was the entrepreneur, the good entrepreneur, the skilled entrepreneur will take the time that they've leveraged by assigning it out to someone else, and they will replace it with items or activities that do move the needle, right? If you just take the leverage time and you're like, I'm going to go to the river, that's not necessarily helping your business and not necessarily like a great way to buy back your time. So reinvesting in the investment that you make in other people to leverage your time has to be traded off with activities that will help move your business forward.
Yeah, that's a good point, because it's hard. It's also hard, like as a business owner and entrepreneur, like I could wake up every day and not do anything. Like I have to do things. So just because I delegate everything, like it doesn't mean, like you said, I could just go float the river and get me a little fruity drink or whatever.
Right.
Like I have to go back to work, but when I have to spend those 8 to 10 hours or however many hours a day that I've allocated to my business, it has to be to like moving the needle. Unless you get to like a super high level where you're like, I don't want to do anything.
Then you're probably not watching this podcast or sitting in our mastermind at that level.
Exactly. And it probably took you 2 decades to get there. So if that's your situation, then go float the river, because you earned it and you have everybody in place doing those things for you. But none of us are there, and nobody in our mastermind group is there, which is why I love it, because everybody's kind of at some similar level where you can either you can either learn from somebody, or you can help somebody else get to where they're trying to go.
Right.
And on top of that, it's like the relationships that you build. Like me being new to town, I can find out which people I want to work with and who does what. So when those situations come up, they don't understand, they don't know that they're coming there and I'm a vacation rental property manager. But we use so many vendors to run basically a mini hotel business. So if I meet a lawn guy and my lawn guy is not performing and he owns a lawn business, I'll be saying, oh, I met so-and-so, and he's got a lawn care company. Well, I met him at the mastermind. There's that value in meeting somebody face to face, shaking their hand, understanding like who they are and what they're about.
Right.
And then just kind of being like, no, I know that guy. It's not a Google review page. It's not a Facebook ad. It's like, no, I've met him. That guy's a lawn guy. Oh, Lindsay knows him. Other people will vouch for him. Hey man, you're hired. I got, 10 plus properties and my lawn guy's not performing.
Right.
Can you make it work for me?
Right.
It's that easy. So
Yeah.
it's not just, it is education, it is network, but it's also like you could meet future business partners there.
Correct. And clients.
Sky's the limit.
So, okay, so kind of talking on that topic then, let's talk about the next mastermind. So we're going to have a guest out at our next mastermind on Tuesday from 6 to 7:30. Nick Soizon, I'm never saying his name right, but Nick S., the LLC guy, he is a local tax and LLC attorney here in New Braunfels. You've probably met him. He was in the best of the best top 3. Like me, second is the best. So he claims his fame. But he's going to be out at the mastermind with us to talk all things LLCs. What do you know about LLCs, Austin?
See, it's great that you kind of took control of that situation because my goal was to ask that to you, so I didn't have to answer that. So to answer your question, I don't know much about LLC, so I'm looking forward to it. What I do know is my business and my rental properties are all under different LLCs. So what I know that means is as long as my bank accounts are kind of separate for each one, I have minimized my liability and I'm less likely to get sued if something happens in this LLC. It's not liable that they can penetrate certain other LLCs. So I'm no expert. That's about as far as it goes. I know you need them. I know that I have them, but I think he'll be able to explain a little bit better.
And I feel like that's generally what people, they know that they need to have one. They don't know why, and they don't know what it protects, and they don't know like what the other entities are. So when you start looking at things like S corps and sole proprietorships and C corps and what's the difference and why do I use one versus the other and what protects.
Good thing you didn't ask me that because
we're gonna get all those questions answered next Tuesday. And then the following week, like I said, just a quick reminder, we're inviting someone back from the mastermind or two to come sit with us at this table and expand and get further into the topics of LLCs. I know it's a super enthralling topic, but it's important, right? If you're going to build wealth and you're going to have multiple streams of income, which we'll talk about at further masterminds, you're going to want to do some things to help with taxation, which is a fun topic.
Yeah,
So-
I think the least sexy thing about being in business is lawyers, accountants, all that stuff, and it sucks, and bookkeeping and taxes and stuff, all that stuff is like the non-fun part about it. And that's why you have to have the right people in your corner, in your circle, that know this stuff, because you don't know it, but if something was to go south, you want to make sure that you're set up the right way, so that this, when Nick comes and tells you how you're supposed to do it, you're like, well, I was just kind of like, putting all the money in my personal bank. You can't do all that. You've got to have it set up a certain way, because if something does happen, it's very important.
Right. Cool. Okay, so we want you guys to come out again. Just a quick reminder, next Tuesday at Lone Star Lounge in Creekside. We'll be meeting there at 6 o'clock. The topics and discussions will start around 6:30, and then we'll have some time for Q&A at the very end with Nick and with us. And share us out on Facebook and Instagram. Make sure that you are clicking to be part of our monthly mastermind meetup. We'll put a link in the comments below so that you can be part of our Facebook group as well, so you can get updates and discussion topics.
Yes, so follow the Facebook group. Click going to the invite. Let's see, what else? Where can they find you on social media personally?
Just everywhere.
Just Google me.
L
That's it.
Semper Cells NB.
Yeah, and I'm Austin_Spitz on Instagram, Austin Spitz on Facebook, and then my company is Blue Door Retreats. So, yeah, that's all I got. I look forward to seeing everybody
too.
at the mastermind next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you all next time.